I'm convinced that Senua Saga Hellblade 2 isn't a video game. It is a visually beautiful interactive movie, and it's one of the best looking games I've ever played. Senua Saga Hellblade 2 follows Senua, who suffers from the mental illness known as psychosis, where she hears voices in her head, she sees things that people don't see, and she constantly has this struggle against her mental illness. One thing that I don't like about the game, and straight off, is there is moments in this game where her mind does begin to mess with her, and there's a moment in the beginning of the game, no major spoilers, but there's a moment in the beginning of the game where she is supposed to go underneath this boat to save people where people are supposedly stuck. And of course, because she has psychosis, like there's nobody underneath this boat, and you're climbing or you're crawling through the boat, and it doesn't really lead to any significance to the story. It just kind of reminds you like, hey, she is suffering with this. I think they need to kind of dial back on moments like that. It just, they don't add anything to the story. It's just you're kind of wasting the player's time a little bit, and I just don't do things like that. It's crazy to do things like that. But this game has those type of moments in certain pockets. A lot of the times, usually when they do things like this, it has loads of significance to the story. This game in particular is more of a social affair, because now especially in the beginning, you have two supporting casts that have dialogue, everything, and they have significance to the story. So the first game was a very, very strongly intimate experience, where this one, it seems like the developers wanted to expand out a little bit more and kind of, I guess, fully flesh out the world that you are in the island that you're on. Gameplay wise, once again, it's a lot like the first game. It's a lot like the first game. Not much has changed. The puzzles are less frequent and less repetitive. Of course, in the first game, you had the puzzles that had these shapes, and you had to line up the shapes with a lot of the environments that are in the world. That is less repetitive, and there are also different types of puzzles now in the game. So that's a plus for me. That's a big plus for me, because I remember, especially I think it was towards the end, there was a lot of the same type of puzzles. You had to match up the shapes here and there, and then it led to a combat scene. It was very repetitive throughout the first game, and the second game definitely dials back on that. To me, combat is secondary in the Hellblade series now. They don't care much about improving the combat as much, but to me, like I said, you have to go into this game knowing what it is, and it's more focused on the atmosphere, the audio design, and the environments and the puzzles. It's focused on other things, and combat is just secondary. It's nothing too big to the developers and to the overarching story and what the game is trying to get across. But the combat is very much the same. The pairing is a bit hit or miss and inconsistent. I don't know if that's the developers kind of changing it up, trying to answer to the feedback that many fans were saying, hey, this is very easy. The combat's very easy in the first game, so I don't know if they're doing this to make it a little bit harder. What I do like about the fight scenes and the parts where there is actual combat, they look like scenes and they feel intense. Very intense. I love the camera angles that they've chosen for the fighting and the combat parts. I think every fight feels like a mini boss, and it makes the game feel super intense, like you don't want to be fighting, because there is a possibility of dying. Now, the game is very generous in terms of like you not dying. I haven't died yet in this game. I've gotten very close, but I hit that focus button and I am going to work on an enemy. I mean, I hit it immediately as soon as I get hit hard. Every fight scene just feels very intense, feels very much like a mini boss, and I've always liked the combat. Of course, there's better ones, but I've always liked the combat, and I'm glad it's back, and it feels great in this game too. As I was saying in the beginning of the video, this is one of the best looking games ever. The environments are photorealistic and absolutely stunning. They are beautiful. I mean, the world that Ninja Theory has created here is it has to be the most beautiful game I've ever seen. It is absolutely stunning. There's been multiple times where I've stopped and I just looked around and just really admired the work that developer has put in. It is beautiful. Like I said, photorealistic. It is amazing. Once again, animations, facial animations are amazing, and they kind of rival against some PlayStation exclusives like God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West. I think those two games have amazing facial animations, and the actors did amazing performances, but the woman that's playing Senua did an amazing performance herself, and especially in a lot of the cinematic scenes that are probably running on the in-game engine, the facial animations, the overall animations just look beautiful, stunning, and I love the fact that games are here. I love it. It's great. It makes for just beautiful interactive novels almost. It's beautiful. Like I said, if you know what you're getting yourself into with this game and you understand it isn't this action-packed, God of War type title, then you'll really resonate with the story, the narrative, and just really like the game in general. With the 4 or 5 hours that I've played of Senua Saga Hellblade 2, I really liked the game so far, but I really liked the first one. It just really showed me that games are supposed to be an experience, and no experience is going to be the same. And this game, the fact that they do have a second one here and it's out now, it's great to play it again, and it's great to relive some of the trauma and some of the issues that Senua has, and this game represents it very well. The story keeps me on my feet. I want to know what happens next. I admire the sheer quality of the game. It is amazing. It is super amazing. I know Xbox and Microsoft are really hoping this game does well, and if you look at the general consensus, if you look at what some of the early reviews are, it's doing very, very well. But of course, unfortunately, with Xbox and the recent closures to Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin, you can have a good game like Hi-Fi Rush and you can still fail. And I think a lot of people are looking at Ninja Theory like, hey, even though this game is good, like what's really going on, with the developers and the publisher. But I think they're going to be safe. I think Ninja Theory are safe, and I think they just made one of the better Xbox exclusives to come out this year, if not in the last couple of years, because Xbox really needed some exclusives. Overall, should you play this game? If you played the first one and you liked it, hey, go for it. Play it. It's on Game Pass, especially if you have an Xbox and you have Game Pass. Get it on Game Pass. If you're on PC, you can get it on PC. You can also just buy it on Xbox. Play it because you're gonna like it. If you like the first game, you know what you're getting yourself into. If you're one of those people that were on Twitter saying it's a walking simulator, you're not gonna like this game. You are not gonna like it. You're gonna hate it, and that's fine too. So that is up to you, the viewer. Do you like the first one? Then play Senua Saga Hellblade 2. If you didn't, I would stay away from this game. But this is one of the biggest games to come out for Xbox, and I'm glad I'm playing it, and I love it, and I really enjoy it. My name is Curtis with the Seoul Dojo Gaming Channel. You can follow me on X at Cali from the Dojo, and make sure you guys subscribe to the Seoul Dojo Gaming Channel. We are doing some great stuff over here, and our subscriber count keeps going up because you guys like the videos, which is great. Make sure you guys like the video and get into the comments because I love talking video games with you guys. I'll check you guys later. All right, peace.